Snow drifted softly across the old stone streets of Maple Grove, settling on rooftops like powdered sugar. The town was lit with warm golden Christmas lights, the kind that made even the coldest evenings feel alive with warmth. People passed each other with steaming cups of hot chocolate, bundled scarves, and laughter echoing through the decorated square. It was Christmas Eve, and everywhere the world seemed to be wrapped in joy, everywhere except inside the quiet, dim-lit restaurant where Emma sat alone at a table meant for two. She tucked a loose strand of brown hair behind her ear, fingers trembling slightly. Her hearing aids lay untouched in her purse. They rarely helped. The world had always been quieter for her than it was for everyone else. She had agreed to this blind date after months of convincing from a coworker who insisted the guy was sweet, understanding, and kind. But kindness, Emma had learned, was something people talked about more than they practiced. She glanced at the front door again. He had walked in 15 minutes earlier, spotted her, hesitated, and then walked right back out. She didn't need to hear the door slam to understand what had happened. The look on his face, surprise mixed with discomfort, told her everything. She had been rejected before a single word had even been exchanged. She kept her eyes down, blinking away the heaviness that formed behind them. She wasn't new to rejection, but Christmas Eve made it sting differently. She felt every flicker of candles, every soundless laugh from nearby tables, every burst of holiday cheer like a reminder that she didn't quite belong. A waiter approached and asked something she couldn't catch. She glanced up and gently signed that she was deaf. He nodded, apologetic, and gestured a universal question. Would she like to order? She gave a small, polite smile and shook her head. She didn't have the heart for dinner anymore. She just wanted to gather her things and leave before the tears she held back spilled out. But as she reached for her coat draped over the chair, something shifted in her peripheral vision. Two small figures, identical in height and movement, drifted toward her with curiosity and purpose. Twin girls, no older than 7, walked right up to her table, bundled in matching red sweaters and fluffy earmuffs, cheeks rosy from the cold. Emma blinked, confused. Children rarely approached strangers so boldly. The girls exchanged a quick glance, then lifted their hands and signed, "Can we join you?" Emma froze. Her breath caught halfway in her chest. For a moment, she wondered if she had imagined it. Signing wasn't common, especially not among kids. But the movements were unmistakable, lightly imperfect, a little playful, but clear and intentional. She nodded slowly, unsure whether to laugh or cry. The girls grinned and slipped into the empty chairs like they belonged there. Emma signed back. "Who taught you?" The twins pointed toward the window. Emma followed their fingers and noticed a man standing outside, dusting snow from his shoulders. Tall, lean, wrapped in a charcoal coat, with a tired but warm expression. When he realized the girls were pointing at him, he rushed inside, looking both apologetic and panicked. He approached the table, bending down slightly. His lips moved, but Emma couldn't read his words quickly enough. He noticed her confusion and stopped, then pointed to his daughters and signed slowly, "Sorry, they like meeting new people." Emma shook her head, signing that it was okay. More than okay. It was the first warmth she had felt all evening. The man hesitated before speaking again. This time he pulled out his phone and typed, "They said you looked lonely. I hope they weren't bothering you." Emma read the message and smiled. Small, fragile, but real. She typed back, "They are sweet. They signed to me. That's rare." He looked proud as he read her reply. Then he signed carefully, slowly. "Their mom was deaf. She passed away 3 years ago. They like signing whenever they get the chance." Emma's heart softened instantly. She looked at the girls again, bright, lively, with the same brave confidence she wished she had had at their age. One of the twins tugged at Emma's sleeve and signed. "You sad?" Emma inhaled, steadying herself. "Kids saw everything." She signed back, "I was supposed to have a date. He didn't stay." The twins frowned dramatically, like the idea offended them on a personal level. One of them turned to their father and signed something fast, full of attitude. "He should not do that. She is pretty." The man's face flushed slightly. He signed back something gentle, but the girls had already grabbed menus and pulled Emma into their bubble of energy. It was the first time all evening she felt seen, not just noticed, but understood. The father stepped back slightly. "I don't want to intrude," he signed. "We can leave you alone." Emma shook her head quickly. "Stay." He hesitated, then took the empty seat across from her. She typed on her phone again. "Your girls saved my night." He read it slowly, eyes warming with something unspoken. He started typing, but then stopped, shook his head, and instead signed with more confidence than before. "They saved mine, too." The waiter returned, confused at first by the sudden family at the empty table, but the twins charmed him instantly. Soon, menus were passed around, cocoa was ordered, and the twins insisted Emma try the peppermint pastries because they taste like happy snowflakes. A description that made no sense but made Emma laugh silently. Throughout dinner, the girls bombarded her with questions in sign language. "Do you like Christmas? Do you like snow? Do you like dogs? Do you like green dogs? Do you like hot chocolate? Why are boys dumb sometimes? Are you a princess? Do you know Santa? Do you want a cookie?" Emma struggled to keep up with their rapid signing but loved every second of it. Their father, whose name she learned was Daniel, kept trying to slow them down, but Emma shook her head and encouraged their enthusiasm. It felt good to connect, to communicate without pressure or judgment. At one point, one twin asked if Emma had ever fallen in love. Emma paused, unsure how to answer, but signed honestly, "Not yet." The twins exchanged a knowing look, then pointed, not subtly at all, directly at their father. Emma's cheeks heated. Daniel covered his face with his hands, embarrassed but laughing. After dessert, Daniel typed on his phone again. "Thank you for being so patient with them. They miss using sign language with someone other than me." Emma typed back, "You sign very well." He smiled. "My wife taught me. I wasn't great, but I tried." She said effort mattered more than perfection. Emma nodded, her chest tightening gently. There was so much quiet strength in him, the kind built from love and loss, and raising two bright souls in a world that didn't always make things easy. He typed again, "Your date was a fool." Emma blinked, taken aback. She typed slowly. "People get uncomfortable when they realize I'm deaf. Some don't know how to talk to me." Daniel leaned forward. "Then they don't deserve to talk to you." She didn't know what to say. Her throat tightened. She looked away, blinking fast. One of the twins spotted her expression and slid out of her chair, climbing onto Emma's lap without asking permission. Just pure instinctive empathy. Emma froze, unsure, until the girl wrapped small arms around her neck. Emma held her gently, breathing in the soft scent of peppermint shampoo. She signed to the child, "You're very kind." The girl signed back, "Dad says kindness is magic." Emma looked over at Daniel. He pretended to read the menu even though dinner was already over. When the restaurant announced its closing time, the twins groaned dramatically. Emma told them she had had a wonderful time, more wonderful than she'd expected. Daniel helped them into their coats, then walked Emma to the exit. The snowy air greeted them with a sharp chill, but her heart felt warm. He typed one more message. "Would you like to walk with us to the square? The girls want to see the Christmas tree lights." Emma looked at the twins, who were already signing "please, please, please" like they were casting some sort of spell. She nodded. They walked together through the glowing streets, snow crunching under their boots. The twins danced around, making little snow angels and chasing each other. Daniel walked at Emma's pace, keeping close enough that she could see him if he spoke or signed. At the town square, the massive Christmas tree towered above them, covered in twinkling lights and hand-painted ornaments from local artists. People gathered around, singing carols she couldn't hear but could feel in the vibrations of the ground, the rhythm of their movements, the way the lights flickered in time with the music. One twin grabbed Emma's hand, the other grabbed Daniel's, then they connected all three hands together in a chain, as if they were orchestrating fate. Emma looked at Daniel, surprised. He looked just as surprised, but not displeased. The twins raised their hands suddenly, signing something mischievous. "You hold hands now. That means you like each other." Daniel groaned softly, but Emma laughed, shaking her head. The girls were relentless. pushing the two adults together with pure childlike confidence. Then, when Daniel looked at her again, his face softened, all humor replaced by sincerity. He signed slowly, "Can I take you on a date, a real one?" Emma's breath caught. She glanced down at their joined hands, at the warmth seeping through his gloves into hers, at the twins eagerly watching. She signed back, heart full, "I would like that." The twins squealed, silent to her ears but loud in their energy, and threw snow in the air like confetti. Daniel exhaled, relieved and smiling. The tree lights glowed brighter above them, casting a golden shimmer over the snow. Emma hadn't expected love. She hadn't even expected kindness tonight. But sometimes, she realized, love arrived in small hands, brave hearts, and unexpected signs. And on a cold Christmas Eve, in the middle of falling snow and glowing lights, she wasn't alone anymore. The snow fell thicker as the Christmas tree lights glistened above them, and Emma felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, belonging. The twins had glued themselves to her sides, their tiny hands wrapped around her arms like they were afraid she might disappear if they let go. Daniel walked close, watching them with a mixture of amusement and tenderness that made Emma's heart flutter. They stayed beneath the glowing lights longer than they intended, just talking, signing, and laughing. Daniel shared stories about the girls, how they once tried to rescue a squirrel that did not want to be rescued, how they insisted on celebrating half, birthdays with mini cupcakes, how they had painted their dog blue because he looked sad in brown. Emma found herself smiling so much her cheeks hurt. The twins took turns asking her questions about her job, her favorite colors, and whether she believed Santa was secretly a ninja. Emma answered each with patience, but what warmed her most was how naturally the communication flowed between them. She didn't feel like she had to fight for understanding. Everything came effortlessly. Eventually, the cold became too sharp for the twins' small noses, and Daniel suggested they head home. They walked together down the snow-covered street, the twins skipping and leaving little trails of footprints behind them. When they reached the parking lot, the girls refused to get into the car until they had given Emma 2 dramatic bear hugs. Emma hugged them back, her eyes soft. Daniel typed on his phone again as the twins buckled themselves into their seats. "Can I text you tomorrow? Maybe we can plan that real date." Emma nodded, typing back. "Yes, I'd like that." He smiled warmly, then signed gently, "Good night." She watched the car drive away, the twins waving wildly from the back seat, tiny hands pressed to the frosted window. When they disappeared into the snowy distance, she looked up at the Christmas lights again and let the cold air fill her lungs. For the first time in years, she didn't mind the quiet. The quiet felt full. The next morning, she woke to a message from Daniel. It wasn't one message. It was a video. Curious, she clicked play. Daniel appeared on the screen, holding the camera awkwardly as if unsure how to film. He signed slowly. The girls wanted to say good morning. The camera shifted to the twins, both still in pajamas decorated with Santa reindeer. They waved energetically. Then the twins signed together, their little hands forming signs slightly too big and dramatic for the words they wanted to express. "Good morning, Emma. We miss you. Come see us today." Emma laughed silently, the soundless kind that shakes your shoulders. She typed back, "Good morning. I miss you too, and yes, I can visit." Within seconds, 3 heart emojis from the twins appeared in reply, followed by Daniel typing, "We're going sledding. Want to join?" Emma hesitated only a moment before replying, "Yes." By noon, she stood at the top of the snowy hill behind the elementary school. The twins sprinted toward her like she was a celebrity, dragging Daniel behind them. They launched into explanations, signing way too fast about their sleds, their plans, and how they wanted her to ride with them. Daniel approached her with a thermos and mouthed slowly so she could read his lips. "Hot chocolate," she nodded gratefully, taking the warm cup. The hill was crowded with families, laughter echoing through the winter air. Emma watched the twins barrel down the slope, their giggles silent to her ears but visible in their glowing faces. Daniel stayed near her, hands shoved in his coat pockets, snow dusting his hair. He signed softly, "You okay?" Emma nodded. "This is nice." He smiled. "I wanted today to be special. The snowflakes clung to his eyelashes, and Emma felt that now familiar tug in her chest. She wasn't used to someone making an effort for her. She wasn't used to someone choosing her. The twins returned breathless and insisted Emma join them on the sled. She hesitated. She hadn't sledded since she was a child. But their pleading eyes and Daniel's encouraging smile left her with little choice. She sat in the middle of a long red sled, the twins wrapped around her like her personal seat belts. Daniel gave them a playful push, and the sled shot down the hill with a burst of speed. Emma's breath caught, adrenaline sparking through her chest as the world blurred around them. Snow sprayed into the air, the twins shrieking in silent delight. When they finally reached the bottom, the twins fell over laughing, piling onto Emma in a tangle of scarves and gloves. She hadn't felt so free in years. Daniel jogged down to meet them, shaking his head with mock exasperation. The girls ran off again, leaving him and Emma alone. He extended a hand and signed, "You're good with them." Emma shrugged, cheeks warm. "Your girls make it easy." Daniel looked up the hill where the twins were arguing about who would ride next. His expression softened into something deep, something that carried weight. "They really like you." Emma swallowed, her heart beating a little faster. She signed back, "I like them too." Daniel seemed to gather his courage before signing again, "And I like you." Emma's breath stilled. He stepped a little closer, careful, slow. He signed, "I know this is new, and maybe too fast, but last night felt different, good different." She nodded, her hands trembling slightly. She signed back. It felt special. Daniel's eyes warmed, and for a moment they simply stood together, the cold forgotten. The twins sprinted back, interrupting the moment by diving between them. They pulled Daniel's hand in one direction and Emma's in the other. Eventually, all four of them linked hands as they trudged back up the hill. Hours passed. The sky dimmed. Snow turned pink under the setting sun. By evening, they had built uneven snowmen, eaten marshmallows, and declared Emma the unofficial winner of the fastest sledder contest despite her protests. When it grew too cold, Daniel invited her over for dinner. She hesitated for a moment. Stepping into someone's home was a deeper step than she expected to take today, but she nodded. His house was warm and decorated with simple Christmas touches. The twins threw their coats aside and ran to the living room, where a small tree sparkled. Daniel motioned for Emma to sit. He moved around the kitchen with ease, preparing pasta while the girls set plates on the table. Crookedly but proudly, Emma helped the twins fold napkins. It felt natural, like she had been part of this house much longer than a day. During dinner, the twins asked Emma to teach them new signs. She showed them how to sign star, dream, snow, and love. They practiced relentlessly, hands fumbling at first, but they learned faster than she expected. After eating, the twins grew tired and curled up on the couch watching a Christmas movie. Emma and Daniel found themselves sitting on the floor nearby, backs against the couch, watching the twins drift toward sleep. Daniel signed quietly, "Thank you for being here today." Emma signed back, "Thank you for inviting me." He hesitated, then reached into the drawer beside him. He pulled out a small box, plain, worn, taped shut on the edges. He held it in his hands for a moment, then signed, "Can I show you something?" Emma nodded gently. He opened the box. Inside were letters, photos, a small silver earring, a charm on a chain. He typed something on his phone and handed it to her. "This was my wife's." Emma touched the charm carefully. She didn't know whether to feel honored or heavy, but she felt both. Daniel signed slowly. "She used to say the world was quiet but beautiful. She loved Christmas. She loved teaching us how to listen with our eyes. I thought, maybe I'd never meet someone who reminded me of that warmth." His eyes lifted to meet hers. "Until you." Emma's breath trembled. Her eyes welled despite her efforts. She signed, "I'm not her." Daniel shook his head immediately. "I don't want you to be her. I just want you to be part of our world, if you want to be." Silence stretched between them. Not empty, but full. Emma looked at the twins sleeping against each other, their tiny hands curled into fists, dreaming in the glow of Christmas lights. She felt something shift inside her, something hopeful, something brave. She signed slowly, deliberately, "I want to try." Daniel's smile was soft but radiant. He didn't move closer, he didn't rush. He simply nodded and signed back, "Me too." They sat together until the twins woke and insisted Emma stay for cookies. She stayed a little longer, long enough for the evening to melt into night. When it was finally time to leave, Daniel walked her to the door. Snow drifted quietly behind them. He typed on his phone, then changed his mind. He put the phone away and signed instead, looking directly into her eyes. "Merry Christmas, Emma." She signed back with a racing heart. "Merry Christmas, Daniel." He stepped back so she could leave, but Emma paused, turned, and signed one more thing before stepping into the glowing winter night. "I want to see you tomorrow, too." Daniel's lips parted in surprise, then curved into the warmest smile she had ever seen. The door closed softly behind her, but the warmth stayed with her all the way home. In the silent world she knew so well, she felt something new, light, alive, waiting. Christmas was no longer just lights and snow. It was possibility, and for the first time in years, she wasn't afraid of being heard without sound. She wasn't afraid of being seen without speaking. She wasn't afraid of being loved in a language entirely her own.